most Black Ops 3 maps failed to achieve. A perfect balance between the daring and bold gameplay and brash narrative. It's not judged off of the spaghetti that is the Ether storyline, but starts us off on a clean, new slate to fully immerse ourselves into such an elaborate map. It's not about tragedy like Blood or a hunt for the lost like Voyage, it's about power. It's the power over the prima materia to become the ruler of all. This is the reason why Treyarch made their own trailer for this map, because this is by far the one that you can see the most effort and input. Whereas Voyage felt empty and abandoned, 9 is alive. The map starts you off in total darkness, leading to the bright light and the crowd. Man, the crowd beats into your heart as they chant and you come out and it's fucking showtime. Easily one of the greatest ways to start the map, and it lets the player feel immersed, cheer them on, and this is what they've been worked up for. It's unbelievable to think that a Vapor session makes you feel more alive than an actual Titanic event. And the best part about the start is, it's totally up to where you go after that point. Anywhere you go has a completely different dynamic in terms of the gods, and it seems as though every Black Ops 4 perk mechanic was built for this map. Ra has the most illustrious gold and archaic temples with pillars adorning his name and a tomb burial as his sacrifice. Danu has a forest infested with blight that you must purge to be relinquished of her generosity and gifts. Zeus is the god of lightning, and his temple is adorned with the cleanest and most articulate creations man has ever seen. Odin, the king of his people, has his temple made as though it were home and bears the fruits of all of his people's labor. On top of that, the god statues move as if they're watching you. They want you to complete this until your untimely demise. There's so much thought behind each of the mantelpieces and sets within all 4 of these temples, and it makes it such a treat to play and kind of sours the flavor when you realize they just recycled this onto Voyage. The flow of the map works beautifully, as nothing ever feels so far apart, but yet it feels as though you can change it and it's under your control with certain buildable traps and doors. It's thought out perfectly. The best area to hoard is easily the starting room, making it the greatest of this 10-year running series, along with the affinity meter making it unstoppable. The announcer as well telling you what you've done and how to keep going makes it believable and truly puts you into the situation. Then we go into the lower level of the map and it is astonishing. It's as though this 5th temple was made to appease all 4 of these gods, and at the center of it is Pack-a-Punch. And setting alone, this beats almost every zombies map I've played and truly makes this map feel like you're there, and also makes it feel as though there were many before you, as there are tons of dead carcasses who just could not please the gods as instructed. The map is symmetrical and it's so clean, making it contrast with the stacking odds against you, and I fucking love it. One of the most exciting aspects of the map is the variety of enemies. At first, most zombie players hear variety of enemies and immediately think negatively, as did I. And at first, it was a rough patch to get through, but after several balancing nerfs, I believe they struck a perfect equilibrium. This map features the 4 elemental catalysts of fire, water, lightning, and fire. Fire, water, lightning, and fire. Who the fuck wrote this shit? Fire, water, lightning, and poison. While spicing it up even more with brawlers, gladiators, tigers, and even blight fathers. And the best part about it is, they all fit. Each of the catalysts represents the gods' minions, trying to tear you apart, while the brawlers and gladiators are balanced perfectly to make it seem as though you're up against contenders of the Colosseum. The brawlers aren't overpowered as they have powerful attacks, but you have to not be paying attention or caught in a very bad situation to get 2 hit by one of them. Along with the gladiators who throw their axes while making it easy to kill them and easily dodgeable. The tigers initially were one of the greatest problems of 9, as they could instantly one-hit KO you like the boss could. which we'll talk about in just a second. But the tiger's movements have been nerfed, and it has been made to just feel more like a powerful tiger rather than an agile one. I'm looking at you, dogs on Blood of the Dead. Then we go on into the Blightfather, and man, what the fuck is this? It's like some freakish accident that hell accidentally forgot to take in. It's this monstrosity that fits perfectly and is so disgusting when you're playing and you just see something 4 times the size of a regular zombie that just should not be protruding out of something that goddamn small. It's so disgusting yet riveting and fun. There were some minor glitches with the Blightfather that I showed in previous videos, but I feel as though they've been nerfed a lot with its features, or they've just managed to fix them, which is fantastic. Each of these enemies feel great, and I want to save the Fury's Elephant for a later portion, as it deserves its own section as one of the best zombie bosses in Call of Duty history. You know, the map is fucking fantastic when you can make an elephant fit in with whatever the fuck a Blightfather is. The enemies, along with the bright setting of this map, will easily make this a replayable experience that I have come time to time again to love, and that I will be able to go back to level up my weapons and obviously just have some fucking fun. Onto the weapons. Remember when everybody thought this map wouldn't have any guns? Could you imagine? It does suck that a lot of the weapons featured in the trailers aren't actually attainable somehow, but by God, do the weapons still make up for that are in the map. There's so much of a variety, and somehow Treyarch actually manages to make them still fit in with each other, which I just could not tell you how they did that. Like, little baby man fits in with a bull shield? What a fucking world we live in. And not even just the weapons. The Pack-a-Punch camo fits the aesthetic of this map perfectly as well. Bright colors with a touch of some type of mythology to spicing up the gun. Excellent work, Treyarch. How is it that Voyage and Blood don't follow this same example? Like, Blood doesn't even have the Afterlife camo, for fuck's sake. Whereas 9 makes everything fit the map. The Brazen Bull is an excellent shield and an excellent feature for both gameplay and aesthetic, as it fits the mythology while adding a knife to the shield, making it last longer, and also you can shoot fire out of the goddamn thing. Granted, the shield upgrade is a major pain in the ass, but it's still worth the while for high round runs. And speaking of high round runs, the Death of Orion? What a fucking gun. I love this gun. I love it as much as the Apothecan's Servant. It's a fucking scorpion, for God's sakes. It shoots electricity? What's more cool than that? It's powerful. It kills an actual horde of zombies. I'm looking at you, Wonderwaff, and it stores a ton of ammo. I love it. On top of that, the Homunculus is easily the best Monkey Bomb variant we've had in zombies, along with each trap that melds itself as though it were actually a part of this time. It's in all of these small details that you can really see how Treyarch invested all their time into 9, just like they had done on Shadows of Evil. Moving on into one of the best aspects of this map, it's the Easter egg. The reason why this is the best Easter egg out of the entire game is that it actually makes sense. Do all 4 of the gods' challenges as they were the ones that brought you in here, defeat the final boss, and you're free. Why the fuck is that so difficult to make an Easter egg so coherent like this? Anyways, the Pack-a-Punch process is perfect and makes each of the temples have a proper usage where you call upon their champions and kill them. This is fucking brilliant, Treyarch. It helps that they have challenges that are integrated into the Easter egg with the banners that reward you for every action. Absolutely stellar. Then the Easter egg progresses with you making a fertilizer to purge the blight from Danu's tree. And for once, I cannot believe I'm saying this, picking up shit on a map actually makes sense. Granted, it does sound a bit like Minecraft where you're picking up wood, then making it into coal and making bone meal to make some fucking fertilizer, but the step leads to an easy to shoot damn tree step until it's over, and honestly, what could be better? This Easter egg falls into the same progression that most Easter eggs do with Blundell, where there's a step with multiple possible outcomes, and that is the next bull shooting step. Usually these steps take a while to solve, and I'm okay with this after the Easter egg has been solved, as it delays it quite a bit, but I know it can be a complaint to some, so that's why I decided to bring it up. Then we get into quite possibly one of my favorite steps of the egg, which is killing the special enemies in order at Raw. I don't know why, but this step is fun. It's hectic and it creates for some fun gameplay. Granted, for the people who solved this, I don't know how the fuck you managed to figure out what each symbol meant, but hey, you know, whatever. This Easter egg is a fun narrative, and that made me goddamn happy. The next step of the Easter egg is the one where most people were confused about, as Treyarch accidentally bugged it out where you had to shoot the dials up and then use Kilowatt to gain souls for Zeus. It makes sense. I'm not a personal fan, but it does make sense. Then we get to Odin's challenge, and you just have to kill a bunch of shit and survive. I fucking love it. And then it's time for the big boss, and man, what a riveting fight. This is easily the Easter egg I've done the most, as the process is enjoyable, and this fight is what makes it so worthwhile. Nothing can beat the feeling of you trying and focusing so hard to beat the Easter egg. There were so many times that I attempted this, and even though some parts of it get frustrating, like the one hits and whatever, I pursued and I kept going, and that's what I love most about it. The chase, not the final destination. It was the progression to the escalation of the boss that made me so excited. And I mean, come on, look at this motherfucking thing. It's an elephant. Easily enough, you just shoot the weak points and then another elephant comes out and you do it again. But there's just something so exciting about sitting there waiting for the elephant to come out as the Crown Affinity is glowing green. They're going wild. I love this boss fight. I loved every time I failed to go back into it right again. 9 is easily the best boss fight to date and makes me excited just even thinking about it. From its great Easter egg to its great gameplay and setting, 9 comes close to unparalleled between most Call of Duty Zombies maps. But it seems as though the only problem people can really seem to bring up is the lore. I won't lie, I think it can be very weak at times, and Liam and I were saying that it'd be much better, for example, if this was Ultimus's map or the Black Ops 1's crew. But the Prima Materia storyline, where it's some type of substance that makes people all powerful, and the 9 is some unparalleled godlike thing that makes you into a god, is cool, but it's just not as engaging as something like the Aether storyline right now. Granted, you're up against years of story establishing, so it's hard to, but it definitely can weigh down the map when you hear Scarlet still complaining while the others are just trying to have some fun, which is probably why I like Diego and Bruno the most. Hopefully it'll all make sense soon as time goes on, but I think the approach Treyarch took here is questionable, as they took the same approach from World at War, where we can just leave the story and people will find it. The thing is, people found it, but we're just not as interested before, which is why I thought for a map like Voyage, it would have been honestly better to force feed us more information to actually get us understanding a basis and get us more interested. Other than that, the characters die at the end and they probably just woke up back in Greece where they started. Where do they go now? Who knows? Do I really care? Not really. It's a cool premise, but I guess we'll just have to see. 9 is a Black Ops 4 map that I wish all the other Black Ops 4 maps could be. A fulfilling experience which satisfies a simple narrative standpoint while still making the gameplay worthwhile and fun. Regardless of the bugs and glitches that have mostly been ironed out by now, it still exceeds as one of the greatest maps of all time and something that should never be forgotten. 9 is a true work of art and a map you have to see to believe. When the trailer makes you feel the exact same way as you do when you play the map, you know it's a great fucking map. Stop by the
all the state, defeating all the voices in my head, defeating all the voices in my head, defeating all the voices in my head, defeating all the voices in my head.
The cleansing must be complete.
Anger never solves anything. Actually, that is not entirely true.